Good Sunday morning and happy Mother's Day. Hope you're having a wonderful start to the Lord's Day, which is every day. We are in Genesis 33, and this chapter is dealing with Jacob and Esau being reunited. And we would think that Esau, would be extremely salty. As a matter of fact, Jacob saw him from afar, and Esau had his 400 men with him, ready to do some damage, to wreak some havoc. Why? Because Jacob deceived Esau, and Jacob deceived his father Isaac. And it was really his mother who put him up to it, Isaac's wife, Rebecca, right? She had a favorite. Her favorite was Jacob. And Jacob was loved by his mom very dearly, right? He hung around the house, the tent. But Esau, the older brother, was loved by Isaac, right? And that's when Jacob fooled his father into, praying for him so that Jacob would receive the birthright, right? And that's when he put the furry goat skins on his hands and arms, because Isaac couldn't really see at that point. He was an older man, even though it did say that he heard his voice, but he still didn't discern or perceive that was his son. Anyway, this whole story made me think how moms and dads, we are fallible, right? We make mistakes too. And even with Rebecca, showing favoritism toward her son and setting him up to do all that, we might have good intentions, but it's never good to have favorites. Maybe deep down we might have favorite children, but let it not be known, right? Because children pick up on that. And I can think of a time, I only have the one child, but I could think of a time, because I was like, Lord, when did I make a mistake in parenting? I remember when you were in like 4th or 5th grade, and Timotheus was in like a play fight on the steps, and he was sent to the...
That was a real fight.
That was a real fight. Okay, well, anyway, me with my old crazy overprotective self, I tried to shield him from the punishment, and because I wanted him to take part in a reward. And looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? If anything, I had, selfish motives, because I didn't want him to, miss out. Fear of missing out. That was the first time. No. Because he was clowning, he should have got the punishment. And I look back and he ultimately got the punishment. And then I think about how Jackie Jackson, her son did something dumb, and Jesse Jackson Jr., and what happened? He had to serve time in jail for 30 months. But guess what? I read this yesterday in the Chicago Defender. She has a book now. She wrote him absolutely every day he was locked up. What is that, 900 days? There were letters that she wrote to him every day, right? 30 times 30. My goodness, the faithfulness of a mother. So even though we might make mistakes, even though our son make mistakes, God's love is perfect. So rejoice in that, because maybe you might be estranged from your children today, or maybe you're not talking to your parent. God bless their memory if you have parents who went on to glory, but celebrate relationships today and quickly snap that unforgiveness if they did something crazy. And that goes into what you have to say, son. Go ahead.
Can you read verse 9?
Verse 9 is like a verse that I really like too. And Esau said, Jacob was trying to appease him. He said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself. Keep it.
Okay.
A little louder.
So Esau forgave his brother Jacob, and I think since he forgave him, I think that's why he was restored. Everything that was taken from him was restored. And I feel like if he had a bad attitude about it and he was bitter, I don't think he would have had all that in the surplus resources. But I think if people do us wrong today, it's not gonna profit anything to hold a grudge against them.
Hallelujah.
Or be bitter about it, but instead forgive so that you can be blessed.
And something about forgiveness, when Jacob saw him and he bowed, on the ground 7 times, and Esau saw how humble Jacob became. And it says in verse 4, Esau ran to meet Jacob, embraced him, fell on his neck, kissed him, and they wept. Whoa, if that's not some humility and restoration, what is that? So what I'm saying is let things go, let bitterness go so no bitter root will spring up on you, and celebrate relationships, celebrate family, celebrate worshiping God. Have a wonderful Mother's Day, and worship God in spirit and in truth, and celebrate his faithfulness. Enjoy.